Hey, hi, Peter, Watch Retrospect. How you doing? Today I'm going to talk about a watch that I've had for quite a while. I've shown it on some of my wrist checks and such, and I've had some people ask me I should do one on it. Um, what we're going to talk about is my Scurfa. Let's take a look here. My Scurfa. This is a titanium diver. And what we're looking at here, this is a Scurfa Diver One, and again, this is the titanium version. They make this exact same watch in stainless steel as well. This one here that I got is what they call Proto Blue. It kind of has a vertical, dial, brushing to it, and the lighting I have here is not good, to say the least. But you really need to see it out in the sun. But it does. It has this really nice blue dial, kind of obviously changes shades the way the sun's hitting it, the way the light's hitting it, and everything. But it's definitely a blue watch. It's got a kind of a navy blue bezel on it. But these are great. Real quick, dimensions on these things, and let's first talk about the company Scurfa Watches. There's a gentleman, Paul Scurfield. He's a saturation diver. Him and his wife own this company. Like I said, by trade he's a saturation diver, which you'll find on the saturation watches that they have helium escape valves, and which this one obviously has. And he decided, he's a big watch fan. I'm sure he had Rolexes and things like that, and just to keep them out of harm's way as they became so expensive for him and his friends, his colleagues, as he worked off of, works out in the ocean. He's a saturation diver. Saturation diving is they pump the gas, the oxygen, their air mixture that they get comes from the surface. It's pumped to them, and it does include helium. And just the fact that a watch is in the presence of helium, those helium particles, which are obviously lighter than air, can actually get into the watch. They're designed to keep water out, not helium, and it's a much smaller molecule. So what will happen when you go down deep, when you decompress, those molecules that will get trapped inside of a watch will literally like blow off your crystal as you're like decompressing, coming back up, apparently. So late 60s, Rolex, along with the Doxa, they kind of did a joint venture with this helium escape valve. And actually, I believe the Doxa sub 300 Conquistador was probably one of the first ones. And then the Rolex, they came out with their first Sea Dweller was a 1665 reference that was the first Rolex with the helium escape valve. From what I understand, the two of them worked together on it, Doxa and Rolex. But anyway, back to this thing. This thing is, again, that's why I bring up Rolex. This has still got a very Submariner-ish type case on it. It is titanium. It's grade 2 titanium. This thing weighs 70 grams. It's 73 grams, I believe. I have mine on a navy blue tropic strap. They come with a rubber strap that they supply, which is nothing to write home about. They are available on a titanium bracelet as well. Kind of like an oyster. It's a little bit different, but kind of like an oyster style bracelet. Which I bought this. It came with the blue rubber, and I just replaced it with the better quality tropic one. But anyway, these are a 40 millimeter dive watch. Again, very Submariner-ish as far as the shape of the case. It is a tip to tip on these are 47.7. The thickness is listed. Scurfa listed at 14.4 on the thickness. It does not fit that way at all. It does have a dome crystal, which we'll talk about in a second. And it does have kind of a pretty big case back. But it does not fit like it's like 14.5 millimeters thick. And I think I already said it's a little under 48 on lug to lug. So this thing fits great, fits, quite honestly, almost like a sub. And even though the thickness is, I know this, even though the thickness is thicker than a sub, again, because of this dome crystal, this fits pretty similar to a Submariner, except for the weight. It is got one of the best, believe it or not, it's got one of the best bezels of all the bezels I have, as far as just the accessibility, just to be able to grip. The purchase area, as they say, is tremendous. It's just got some great action. It has a great sound, especially for being a titanium watch. I know some people kind of talked about that the titanium watches, the bezel sound a little bit fainter or something, but this thing sounds really good. Aluminum insert, it has a sapphire crystal on it. This is a quartz movement. If you haven't figured that out yet, watching the second hand tick like it does. The newer ones have I believe they have an ETA. I believe they have an ETA, an ETA movement in it. This had, I believe was called a Ronda, but it is a Swiss movement in it. And if you look right here, I didn't mention it yet, 500 meters of water resistance. This is a serious watch. Thing has a helium escape valve, and it's 500 meters of water resistance. The thing is made in titanium. So 500 meters of water resistance, and the thing is 73 grams on its tropic strap. Beautiful, beautiful. I hardly wear this darn thing. I really do. I don't know why. I have only a couple of quartz watches. I do like to grab the grab and go purpose of the quartz watches. But this is a really, really nice watch. If you notice, it's got the drilled lug holes, and the lugs on this, they're not shouldered. You know how most watches with a stainless steel bracelet, they got the shouldered pins. These pins are 2 millimeters, and they are just straight. You have to use the regular. You can't use that little fork type tool to put these on. You have to use the regular tool with the straight edge on it, and they're beefy. They go all the way through. They go like all the way through the case, and they're beefy. This thing is designed to not come off of you if you're down deep, working around, doing whatever they're doing, welding or whatever. But this is a beautiful watch. Again, the dial with that Proto Blue dial. It's got the white printed indices. The name is printed as well. The Diver One down below, you can't see. It's again just printed nice and white. The hands, sword type, again white, and the white matches. One nice thing about this watch is how the color, the white on the indices in the hand seems to be perfect. And you got the white date color wheel, which is fine because it matches the color of the indice. I don't have any issue with that at all. But it's got this really terrific crown. Shame you don't use it more, because it's being a quartz. The thing only loses a couple of seconds a month, and I have to set it. But I just end up hacking it. It runs a couple of seconds fast, and I'll hack it. But it's a really nice action. I believe the thing has like 4 O-rings in there, like four different gaskets in there, and it's a 500 meter diver, so of course it does. But right there, you can look at that. Look at that beautiful watch. Look at that dial. Look at that proto dial. The way the light will, play with it and everything. But Scurfa, again owned by Paul Scurfield and his wife out of England. I don't think I mentioned that. And he's a real saturation diver, and he's tested these watches himself. And I think he's got a great product. The only negative thing I'll say, they're very hard to get. Paul and his wife have these in stock like maybe 2-3 times a year at the most, and they will sell out within a day, if that, if not quicker. I've tried to get some. I've almost got some in my basket, and as I fumbled around for a credit card, the thing was gone by the time I, could close the deal. So they're hard to get. You can easily find them on eBay. And they get a little bit more. These things they retailed around 300. It's hard to know on their websites, all in pounds and English pounds. And it doesn't give you a price when they're out of stock. So it always says awaiting stock on their website. But I believe they were, like a little under 300. But now that you're going to pay at least, maybe $4, $5, even $600 for one of these on eBay. They're tough, that's the only negative is, and whether or not it's worth $600, I don't know if I go that far, but certainly for like $400, these things are $300-$400. These things are just a beautiful watch. And one other last thing on the dial. If you look at it, you got that gradient, blue, not so much gradient, but you got that vertical brushing, And that's minute track. You got the white minute track that kind of has its own little darker background to it. And I guess just to give it a little bit more, contrast there. But it's a very nice watch. There's really very little to say bad about this. The strap that came with it wasn't really good, but that's easy to remedy. It's 20 millimeter lug width, so that's easy to deal with. But Scurfa Diver One, honestly, it's probably one of the better deals out there. And again, you'll have to find them on eBay, but highly recommended. Highly recommended. Again, depending if you can pick up one of these, and it's at least 500. It's probably even a little high, but that's might be what they're getting. But they're worth it. They're a nice watch. They are quartz, so to some people that's going to be a negative, but I have no problem with it. They have a couple of quartz watches held. You can't argue they're more accurate for sure. So anyway, hey, thanks for joining me. My name is Peter. Watch Retrospect. Thank you so much.